I'm joined by the Chief Operations Officer of Greyhound Racing New South Wales, Wayne Billett. Nice to see a good crowd in.
Yeah, it's fantastic, Duke. It's a really nice atmosphere on track. They've got all the music going and people have got a real buzz about them. And, the quality of racing sort of it makes all that a bit of attraction, so it's great to see.
And look, we've been devoid of interstate raiders over the last couple of years, obviously due to COVID. Divine Empress from Victoria takes out the new sensation, but it adds so much to the race fields and to the quality of the racing that we have.
Yeah, it certainly does, Mark. At the end of the day, that's what it's all about. Is you want the best racers to attract the best dogs, and that's what these sort of events do. And the last couple of years has been a real challenge for everyone, but tonight we've seen a culmination. People can get back travelling. We've got them from Queensland, Victoria, and that, which is absolutely fantastic.
And of course, Greyhound Racing in New South Wales, we are going ahead in absolute leaps and bounds. First things first, tomorrow, Sunday, Broken Hill Cup. And we had our first ever TAB meeting, our first ever televised meeting from Broken Hill last Sunday. We have the Broken Hill Cup on tomorrow, $10,000 to the winner. Not only that, they get a golden ticket into a semi-final of the $1 Million Chase. Tell us about the background of building up our most remote greyhound track in New South Wales.
Yeah, Mark, you know what? Full credit to Regan Edgecombe and the committee out there at Broken Hill. I mean, they're so isolated, so it's obviously very hard to attract people in racing. They plug away with their 6 races every couple of weeks, and for us it's a really important part of our industry, and I think that Greyhound Racing New South Wales has shown over the last few years it is about our entire industry. We've been very focused on regional, and Broken Hill's been an important part of that, and the club for some time have been trying to get a TAB race, and you know what? How exciting is it for them? I mean, on Golden Easter Egg weekend, Broken Hill Cup, for us, that's exactly what it's all about.
I can't wait to get there. I'll be trackside tomorrow night for the Cup at Broken Hill. I will have fun, don't you worry. We'll do a little bit of work on the night, but no, we'll have fun. And again, that leads into our $1 Million Chase Carnival. Now, this year we have 2 $1 million to the winner races. An enormous effort because GRNSW could have banked the money from last year, but you said, no, let's spend it. Let's put 2 races on this year.
Exactly. Well, it's the participants. It's all about the participants, Mark. That's at the end of the day, that's what we all aspire to do, is to reward and give our participants the best opportunity. So, you know what, you're right. We could have done that, but it was really important that we still run the race. The race has got its place now in the calendar, and we need to continue that. And we're lucky we had a little bit of a window between sort of the egg and because the group racing calendar itself is pretty jam-packed, so there's a bit of an impact there, but we've been able to squeeze it in this time, and you know what, bring it on.
Now, we go back a few weeks. Dubbo was the focal point of Greyhound Racing in New South Wales, and pretty much for Australia, we had the inaugural running of the Country Classic, the world's richest middle distance event. Shannon Knoll entertained the locals, massive crowd on course. Just a return to the old days, basically, was how people described it.
It was, Mark, and I was lucky to be trackside for that. It's something that, again, something regional, but you know what? It was great to go to a venue with the real buzz about it, and full credit to Shane Stiff and Courtney and all the crew out at Dubbo. They really just put the edge on that night. They really just made it what it was. The locals supported it in their droves. You know what? It was bloody fantastic. You know what? For me, that's what racing's about. And sometimes, given what's happened over the past few years, we haven't been able to enjoy that. So it was really nice for people to be able to enjoy being trackside, some really good racing, and catching up with old friends and all that sort of stuff. And I think people forget that sometimes.
Wayne, of course, we have the world's richest sprint race, the $1 Million Chase coming up. We now have the world's richest middle distance race, the Country Classic. We also have the 7:15, the world's richest distance race. That comes up in early June at the Gardens.
Yeah, Mark, we've been really lucky in that regard. We've made a real focus on establishing ourselves as a real robust racing destination or jurisdiction, and those races are a culmination of that, and it's good. And obviously there's some other things that we can still look forward to do, which we will do over time, but it's exciting for us, for the participants. We've come a long way, the journey, the participants and the industry's been on the journey, and this is the reward that we've been able to do by hanging in there, getting the rewards that we can get. It's exciting times.
Now, we also have the full hand. We love being the world's biggest, don't we, at Greyhound Racing New South Wales? As said, the $1 Million Chase, the Country Classic, the 7:15. We now have the world's richest short course race. It's an event called the Thunderbolt. The final will be held at Grafton in early June, mid-June. $75,000 to the winner. And again, it's rewarding those greyhounds that race over that 300, 350, 388 metre trip. They now make up a lot of our races on a weekly basis.
They do, Mark, and it's really important that we try and look after each component of our industry. And you're right, you make a really good point, is that the short course racing, I'm a bit of a traditionalist, and I like the 500, 600, 700s. I get that, but you know what, the world's changed, and it is what it is. The short course racing is really important to a lot of people. It's generated a group of people that have been able to invest and continue to invest in the industry. So for us, that's part of the journey as well.
Have a look at that for a calendar, Wayne. We've got the 7:15 on the 11th of June, the Thunderbolt the 19th of June in July. Two big Group 1s here, the Vic Peters, the Peter Mossman. The Nationals are here at Wentworth Park in late August. Then we're into our second $1 million chase, and then back to Dapto, your home track, for the Group 1 Dapto Megastar. I've got to say, we have had great support from the government, haven't we?
Yeah, it has. At the end of the day, it's really important. They've put, they've invested in some of our tracks and infrastructure, and I think Grafton's a real showcase for that, Mark. That they supported what we wanted to do, and to be honest, Grafton has been absolutely outstanding for our industry for a whole number of reasons. But the government backed us. We've built it, and what that will do, it leads us on to the next phases in that regard. So there will be further, we will be doing further projects of that nature into the future. So that's really exciting for us as well.
Of course, racing is one side of our business at Greyhound Racing New South Wales. We also conduct a very, very strong Greyhounds as Pets program. We've got National Adoption Day coming up, and we've recently bought, is it 3 or 4 properties? I tell you, the rivers of gold are flowing into Greyhound Racing New South Wales, but we've bought, properties to house retired racers and greyhounds who don't make it on the track.
Correct, Mark, and welfare is a really big component of our industry now. It's really important that we get that part of it right, and the Greyhound Racing New South Wales board have seen that and invested heavily. So you're right, we bought a property up the Upper Hunter, which we're going through a DA process at the moment. We bought 2 properties back side by side out at Londonderry, which is the Gap home now, and we'll be having some more information about that shortly. So it's really important that we had a footprint and a focus on that from an industry point of view. So that's going along nicely, and the Gap team do a great job. As you say, they're at the Easter show now for a couple of weeks, then the National Adoption Day. COVID's restricted some of the movement around the place, but they're getting out and about, and they do a great job. Sometimes a bit of the unsung heroes of our industry, some of that sort of stuff, but a really important component.
It is, and as you said, welfare and integrity is paramount now. We've got a very, very strong strategy in place as far as looking after our greyhounds. And if you are ever thinking about getting a greyhound, I tell you this, they are the most lovable, compassionate animal. They'll take over your couch, and that's about where they'll stay. But they are a beautiful animal to have as a pet.
They are, Mark, and I can test them out about taking over your couch, because I have one at home that does exactly the same thing. So, they are great pets. They just really assimilate into our, from a personal point of view, into our family environment. Like, just walked in, has been absolutely fantastic. Great for our kids and stuff. So, honestly, I couldn't speak highly enough of that process and what they bring to our family.
I've got to say, have you ever seen Greyhound Racing New South Wales and our adoption programs looking as good as what we do in 2022?
No, Mark. I think it's been a culmination of a lot of work from a lot of people across our industry. Do you know what I mean? From whether it's participants, clubs, Greyhound Racing New South Wales, GWIC, GBHA, whoever it is. As a collective, we've had to work together very hard to do that, and I think we've done that, and the results are coming out now. Whether it's through gap and rehoming, through racing, whatever it is, it's been a real industry effort.
All right, I know you don't punt. You're not allowed to punt.
No, I'm the worst punter in the world, I can tell you.
Have you got a tip for us in the Golden Easter egg? And also, what about the Association Cup?
I'm going to go for Zipping Kansas in the Association Cup, and I know that's last week. I know he got beat and he was the red-hot favourite, but I think tonight he'll atone. And Louis Rumble in the egg. I think there's been a lot of talk about all the speed, etc. So I think that might just give Louis a bit of a chance to just be able to sneak through where he needs to. And at about 8 or 10 to 1, I think he's probably pretty good value.